Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Convos. I am your host, Liz Bullard, and this is the podcast where we talk about local issues, things happening in Connecticut, and we also touch on some global things. And so today we are focusing on a good friend of mine and her new business venture that she has going on. But we're also going to touch into African American or Black owned businesses today. So I'm very excited to have with me Kimkelly Myers. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. I'm so glad that you're here and I get to sit with you and talk about this because I love our chats.
Okay.
So Kimkelly is a good friend of mine, but she also is starting, I'll say, a fairly new business venture, which is Create by Kimkelly. And I'll let her introduce and talk a little bit about her business. But before we kind of jump into that, sometimes I like to start with a coffee-related question, get the blood flowing, get the brain going. So when you're creating or thinking about your creations, do you need a good cup of coffee or tea to kind of get in that space? How does that your creative process work?
I am now, when I get an idea, I have to immediately write it down. I have to sketch it because they come various times. It could be early in the morning, it could be as soon as I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I have to write it or sketch it. And then actually make arrows on what materials because I'll lose it. And then sometimes when you start creating, then you get other things. It's like a domino effect. And that's how I do it.
So you don't need that jolt of coffee. It's just like you're always on that kind of creative mindset.
Yeah, but I have coffee mostly every day. I had it earlier. I always have to have it.
So tell me about Create by Kimkelly. I want to know all the details. Like, how did this start? Like, tell it all.
Well, it actually started in my mind many moons ago. However, I had put it off. I had put it off for well over a decade. Well over a decade. And years ago, I had wrote a business plan. I had did all this research. I knew what I was going to do. And I, like we do. Okay, when I get this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
When I get this new job, I'm going to do this. When I do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I remember August of 2019, I had to be accountable for me. And I just said, you know what? I started. I was doing a consultant project, and I had on a totally different thing. But what I realized was, I could research. And I tried to find the notebook that I had originally found everything. Meaning I knew where to get all holes. I knew everything. I had wrote it all out. I had the websites. I had what they had. I had prices. I knew about, I had to get the IEN number to be able to purchase. And I could not find it. So I had to do it again. And that's when I realized that all my pieces are custom. I don't really duplicate or buy anything bulk. However, the reason why it is so good for me to be able to buy wholesale is because I like to take apart a piece that has a lot of pieces.
So very creative.
Yes, I'll take it apart and I may use one piece of a feather or whatever it is, and I will make it my own. I started looking at the YouTube videos because just to learn, you may have an idea, but then you don't really know how to make it, put it together.
Yeah.
So then you learn from watching them, and you do it, and you practice, and then you get it, and then you twist it, and then you make it your own.
And I think that's really interesting because I think when people have like a passion, like they know that I want to have a business and either you don't know how to do it or what to do, but like you said, start there and then learn your craft. And from there, you make it your own and you have your business. And I think
it's a lot of pieces.
It's a lot of pieces, but I think sometimes people get stuck in one of those steps. Like I either don't have the resource or I don't have the know-how, but everyone has a starting point. And I think that's, one thing that when you're creating something, you have to remember, everyone has a starting point.
I met a young lady at a tech program that they were having for CCF. And I'm not techie. Only when it comes to like writing and researching,
yeah.
I am, that way. But that all the other equipments and all those other, no. So I had met with her. She had showed me how to do a lot of things. She was very patient, and I had bullets of every single thing I needed to do. And I'm hands-on, so I would just do one thing at a time because I didn't want to rush, because when you rush, I wanted it to be right.
You can never rush
you can't rush that.
Cannot rush the process.
I had to learn it.
Yeah.
I didn't even, like posting on Facebook. I don't even post on Facebook. I do now, but I didn't know, and I wasn't really interested.
Yeah.
But she was like, you create your Facebook page. I had did all the research in the background work, but actually implementing it on.
Yes.
Where it's
the average, the marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, the marketing.
That was, so I had to get that done. I finally got my business cards.
Which are beautiful, I will post and tag and all that good stuff.
I first created these business cards, and they were like, I loved them, but they were like, I was channeling my like 8th grade. They were like the rainbow with, create was all in a different color, and I loved them. And then speaking to this young lady, she was like, you got to get a logo. So then I already knew what my logo was. She was like, you sure? And I was like, But then I said, well, you know what? Give me some time. I'm going to go and search logos. Went on these websites. It was, I couldn't get what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And I was using Canva. And needless to say, Vistaprint can basically do anything you want.
I love Vistaprint.
And you can create from wherever. And as long as you have it on your flash and you can upload it, they can do whatever you like. So if you want gold leaf was like, I think I got a quote from a printer shop. And, oh my goodness, for 500 cards, it was going to cost me $170. Girl, my feelings was hurt. Baby toe was pumping. I was like, this is not going to work. I got to figure something out. I can't be starting off with no $200. But you know how much products I can get for $200 for my pieces?
But I think you said like a lot of nuggets in all of that is, first, sometimes you're like, okay, like I want to get like the $200 worth of cards or whatever. And it's like, you can't start there. Let's start smaller with either like something that's free or more economical until you know what I mean? Until you build that revenue. You know what I mean? It might not have the specific thing that you want, but you got to start somewhere and you can always revamp.
I was very pleased with them. They came out like I wanted them. When we were doing the logo, I came back and I was like, this is the logo. I drew it. We went on Canva, we figured it out, and she was like, I don't like this. You did this? I was like, yeah. She was like, this is nice. So then the logo became on my card because I wanted it simple, sleek, just rememberable, and clean. It's clean.
And I think that's also important. And, you talked about, like, when you kind of went with that 8th grade, like the colors and all of this. And sometimes you have to scale back and not only think about like, okay, I like this, but what is going to attract the customer, what's on trend. And I think you have to kind of find that balance between this is what I like, but this is also what I need for marketing. Do you find like sometimes it's hard to find that fine line of being true to you, but also being marketable?
I'm just starting. So what I make is what I like. I make what I like, what I would wear. I also have a plethora of African prints. So I went back in July, I brought every print that I could. I mean, I made friends up there, I got business cards, I know where I'm going. My cousin Valerie, we went up there, we spent the whole day, went to the African marts. I had saw, and I love jewelry. I love every kind of jewelry. So I had saw, like, they had the 3 for $10, and I really wanted these I really wanted these earrings. And they were like 3 for $10, and they were beautiful. And I said, So the lady said, no, I came here to get my material, and I will not venture off. Although they're affordable, although I want them, I don't need them, and I really, need to stay on track. And she said to me, older African lady, she said, you'll do very well. I said, why? She said, because you're disciplined.
Oh.
She said, you have discipline. She said, and you know, after you sell some and you come back, then you can buy yourself the 3 for $10. Now, I had left with bags. They're like, I bought a yard of everything. Mm-hmm. So everything I wanted. And I was so happy when I left. I was like ecstatic. Because I was like, oh, yes, I could start. So people can look at, and I have to upload like some of my art that I've already made and some of my prints, because I mean, if you were to say to me, you know, I like this print, I want this exact earring. Print the way you cut it, you'll never get the exact. Unless I go to another part of it that has the same exact. But I don't really make exact unless you say, I want those, just like
everything
that.
Is a little custom.
And then I can do it. But so for whatever you want, whether it's wood, I use wood, I use
different
material.
Textiles.
Yes, I use wire, I use genuine stone, and I use shells. I love shells. I like the electroform shells. I like the natural shells. Whatever. And then you could say whatever. I also, my new thing is cardboard.
What?
Because they're light. These are cardboard.
Stop.
Yeah, feel how light they are. Put them on. Feel how light they are. They are.
I can't wait to
because
upload
we need our earlobes.
Pictures of these.
These
are beautiful.
We need our earlobes.
They're light. You would never think that it was cardboard.
Yes.
The material that you have over it, it's simple. It's light, because sometimes it does feel heavy on your ears.
I don't make anything heavy.
No, this is very nice. So I can't wait to take a picture and upload this. So check out YouTube for kind of some videos and some photos of Kimkelly and her work.
And like these. They're light.
Oh,
but that's a tanzanite, natural raw tanzanite.
But look at this beautiful fabric and the pattern, and it's very.
And these were like my first pair, not my first pair. These were my first pair, and I was going to I think I was at the Juneteenth event, and people were asking me about my earrings, and I had made them, and my aunts. I had, I had a lot of aunts, but one of my aunts was like, "You made those?"
Yeah.
She was like, "When are you going to start?" And I was like, "I'm doing it step by step." And she was like, oh, I love the support. I would love to invest. I would love to,
Talk a little bit about getting the support of others, especially starting off as a small business and as an African-American business owner. Tell me a little bit about the support.
Well, like I said, the end of this, so when I knew going into, I had went to South Carolina in October. By the time I left my mother, I was all together. But she gets you all together. And then in November, I just started. I started on everything that I needed to do to make it real. And then I started with my friends and my family. I have a big family. So even though I'm an only child, I have a huge family. And my cousins and aunts, like we had a holiday party, and I made everybody something. Because if I know your style, or I'll text you and say, what's your color? And then I'd make you something. And people were like, so happy. And they loved them. And they were like, when are you going to have something at the house? When are you going to, I want to come. I want to support. I had a friend of mine tell me, I want some Kimkelly. I was like, she was branding me. She's so special. And I was like, okay. And I knew I had to get pieces.
Yes.
I had to start messing around.
Yeah.
I had brought everything already.
But it was time
I needed
to create.
Start. And between everything I got going on, I had to take a day, where that's all I do. That one day, while Lula's in school, from when I drop her off after I have my coffee, I start.
Yeah.
And then that's what I do. I start.
But I love how you talked about starting with your friends and your family about, these are gorgeous too. But starting with your friends and your family, because especially when you're doing something that's visual, whether it's clothing or jewelry,
you have to see it.
Yes, and you have to market it. So how, when you start with your friends or family, that's such a wide network, because they're going to go and they're going to talk about it and they're going to wear it, and people are going to say, where did you get that?
They want to know where your cards are. And I had to go through. I started out one place, went and was trying to They uploaded it. They were supposed to give me a quote because I wanted the wreath going around the K with the gold leaf. And they never got back to me. We won't mention the name. Then I went to another place, and that was when I got the 170. So I was like, baby toe was swollen. I was like, no, thank you. And then I said, you know what? I went on Vista. I put it up there. And then I got stuck on something technical. Yeah. And then I called. Young lady helped me through everything. I loved the price. I loved the, I could see the image. I could see what it was going to be. And then I received them the other day. And I was like, opened them up. They were like, yes. I was like, here we go. And then what I like about that is I'm going to get my table.
Like cloth?
I'm going to use the ones that go under, so the tablecloth isn't doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And then I'll probably go to use the library and I'll make it, and then we'll iron it on, because it's pretty pricey to get the tablecloth, to get it on. Yeah. I mean, it's like at $150, and that's on the low end. Yeah. So I have friends, and I met so many, one of my library supports that I have in another city. Beautiful young lady. She is just, there's a lot of resources if you know where to look.
And I was just going to say, I love how, one thing you talked about, you said, that you had to set aside one day to just work on building it. And I think sometimes people get stuck on, I gotta work. Yes, but don't let your dream go by. Find or make time to really build and invest into your dream until it gets to the point where your dream can sustain your lifestyle. But the other thing you talked about was just using those resources, those free resources, especially when you're starting. Because I think a lot of people think, well, I got to go to the bank and get the money, and if they deny me, still find a way to start your dream. Use your friends and family to market. Find those free resources. You talked about the library. You talked about YouTube. You talked about just asking people for support and know-how of how to do this. And so I really love that, especially if someone's thinking about, how do I make my passion a business?
Working on it doesn't always mean creating. Working on it means spending a day. Spending a day thinking about your ideas, thinking about your designs, working on, creating your Facebook page. What do you want to put up there? Looking for inspirational quotes.
Thinking about things on brand and on, yes.
Looking at, this was the original one. And I also have it on my computer, see? Yeah. And that was in gold leaf. And, I really loved it. And I really was like, yeah, but then...
When you compare it to the one you have now...
Yeah, everybody, like my aunt. Yeah. She has great taste, and she was like...
So for those listening in, the first one, it had create in all these different colors.
I loved it. And it was black and white.
And
I love black and white.
It had a lot going on where this
I didn't think it did.
I mean, compared to what you have now, like, I absolutely get your brand. I get your idea. It's this black card. It has the K surrounded by these gold leaf with the contact information on the back. And it's simple enough that it stands out, because I feel like sometimes when people are trying to market, it's just so busy. But if I was walking by, I would stop and look at, like, what is that? It has enough mystery because it is just a K with the gold leaf. So I would stop and, like, well, what is this? Yes. And so when you compare that to the first one, so sometimes we're like, oh, the first one. Sometimes get people's feedback and go back.
And that was in gold leaf by Kimkelly. And then, I really loved it. Or it was going to be the look.
No, I absolutely love the end result now. So tell me. Yes. And
then, creating your Gmail. Creating your accounts for Canva so you can create your cards, your brochures. Your, when you have something, you want to let people have a brochure. You want to leave people with a card. You want to be able to upload. I have another cousin who lives in Rhode Island, and she's a photographer. And I had sent her a pair of earrings last night because I had sent everyone text to let them know I have my cards and to send me their address so I can send them cards, because people were like, give me a few cards, because they want to wear. One of my cousins is in Massachusetts, and she is like, when your cards are coming.
Yeah.
So she's like screaming through text.
Yeah.
All right now, she sent me her address, so
yes.
now I have to send people the cards. But a lot of people are coming to Lula's birthday, so they're gonna take the cards there. You better be there.
I'm coming.
And she has a lot of older friends.
Yes.
That's why she's like going on 34.
Oh my gosh, she's gonna be the coolest girl when she gets older, wearing like her own mother's earrings. Like all the girls are gonna be jealous.
I can't wait for her to start school and wear a uniform. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Don't let it have plaid. I'm gonna lose it. And then like your Instagram. So that Instagram was a little.
I have to say, Instagram gave me a hard time. I felt like there was a lot of steps. Like Facebook, it's like, okay, hit the button. Yeah. Instagram, like you gotta link this, do this, and for me, it was a little stressful. I'm not that tech savvy, so it was stressful.
So you understand my pain.
I do,
but now
I thought it was just me.
Now I have it up, and I need to get on it more, because when you're new, you have to do stuff daily or every other day, and I was doing every 3 days. So once I upload everything to Facebook, I'll upload a lot of the stuff on Instagram, because then my contact and things are up there. So if people want to contact me and say, and I'm also working on my website. But before I could work on my website, I had to get a few pieces. So I have more to create before I put stuff on, and my material, like shots of the material, so you could pick. And then I'm going to go back. Depending on how I do, I'll probably go back the end of spring, early summer, and get other materials.
Excuse me, I like how you talked about, okay, like right now, that social media, doing the social media and talking about that timing, like, okay, right now, I need to do it every day. I need to be kind of like in their face every day, letting them know that I'm out here and creating. And I also liked how you, again, talking about that timing with, okay, I'm not ready for the website because I need to have more pieces for this website to really be beneficial. And I think that that's important. And I think sometimes people are like, I need to have all this in order before I step out. But I think you can miss your time and your opportunity if you don't step out and kind of just take a step of faith on you.
And another thing is great marketing is the reason why I gave presents to my family is because they'll wear it.
Yes.
And people ask. Yes. I wear my own stuff. People, when I was going to get these done, a lady stopped me and was like, I love your earrings. And
well, it's just like hairstylists, like, their best, billboard.
Yeah, and she said, and I said, I don't even have my card. She gave me her card because she's a business owner. And she said, when you get them, email me, text me, call me, send me a picture, send them to me in the mail. When you have something, let me know. Because I'll come and I'll bring people, because that, and I was like, they're cardboard. It was another pair I had. You would love those. And she's upstairs and she goes, I love them. She was like, you're going to do good with young and older women because people like light stuff.
Which is so true. So tell me a little bit about, being an African American woman and starting business. I want to kind of tap into that. Not only in reference to being in the city. So being in the city here in Waterbury, I find that there's a lot of people that have business, but it's also a place I feel that sometimes business doesn't flourish. We've just recently seen that we've lost 2 restaurants that had been here for some time. So starting out, again, from the perspective of a woman, an African American woman, and having a Black-owned business, how has it been starting? And how has it been creating? Like, has there been opposition? Has it been difficult? Has it been an easier time? Well, how has it been?
My opposition was myself. I needed to start, and that was it.
Yeah.
I just needed to do it. It's my creative outlet. I've always been creative, and I've always wanted to do it. But I just kept putting it off. I kept making excuses. And it comes a time when, what am I going to do? Let another 10, 20 years go by? And then I'm angry because I'm could have been creating for 20 years and you get better. You get more evolved as you go. And I think more importantly, it takes confidence, and it really takes a positive outlook. You have to know that you are your best asset, and that you're marketable, and that people would love to have something that they can't go buy out of a store.
Yeah.
They can't buy it.
I think there's definitely a push and a trend to more local stuff. I think that it's having more of a value than franchise and stuff, so I think that's awesome.
And that was my goal. That I was just like, you know what? I have to start this. Now I have my pot. I have, more irons going, but this is something that I'm passionate about. I love to do it. I'm happy to do it. It's like I love, Joanne Fabrics is going out of business.
Yes, ma'am.
Girl, I can't wait for their jewelry stuff to go to 50. They at 30. I'm frugal. I'm like, whoa, I'm going to need y'all to be half off. Then I love to do my scrapbooking. So, all my pieces, I hunt. I'm a hunter. I hunt for stuff. And then the more I create, I start to look at other stuff and say, oh, I could use this for this.
Yeah.
I could do this. And then you do it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's and not only is it just good that you get compliments, but it's good when people say, do you have your card?
Yes.
Now, with life and hectic, I probably couldn't go set up every Saturday to have my table out somewhere because it just. So that's why I created the Facebook and all that, because you can just email me.
You're always reachable.
Yeah, you can email me. You can send me a message. You can get on top. Instagram me a post, and I have to get better at checking once I upload. Now you have to check every day because I'm not really on Facebook like that. Or I don't even know. But my cousin was like, yeah, Instagram. And then, so when I gave the presents at Christmas, that's a variety of people. You're talking from people in their 60s to people as young as 16. And my younger cousins were like, when are you going to get your cards? Are you on Facebook? Trying to get the family discount. You know how we do.
So, but speaking of that, do you, and especially again from that position as not only a woman but being an African American woman, do you think that people are always like, "Hey, can I get that for free? Can I get that as a discount?"
I haven't encountered that.
Okay,
I gave mine because honestly, it was my first prep. Okay, I'm gonna make these. I started in November. I wanted to perfect them, and I wanted honest opinion. And family will be blunt and honest and say, I don't like those. Or, girl, those is nice. Or, can you do... One of my aunts who is very particular, I said, well, Auntie, what's your favorite color? She says navy blue and black. Now, I done made her navy blue and purple, and I put the amethyst on the bottom. And then I made her red with the and she was like, they're so light up. And she put them on with another amethyst chunky necklace she had got from another friend of hers who makes jewelry. When I tell you it looked gorgeous. It was like, it complimented.
Yeah.
And her friend who makes jewelry, she makes, not her jewelry's different from mine, but she makes some really nice pieces. And it just looked... It was so lovely. She put them on in the house for the holiday, and they were beautiful, and she loves them. And then her friend, another friend, was like, I love those. Where's your card? And I said, I don't have them. I'm making them. And she said, when you get one, give it to Annette. I'm coming. So people are like waiting to, and I'm having something, I'm not going to say the date.
Okay.
Because I have a date, but I also want to make sure... I have everything. I'm going to just have something at home. I'm going to invite friends and family.
We'll let them know.
Of course. And people can come and purchase and look and try on. And we'll take pictures and we'll upload if they're good with it. And then, And I was working on pricing yesterday.
So, yes, tell me a little bit about pricing. Because, again, sometimes, I've heard, especially with, business for, African Americans, that people either don't want to pay full price, they think it's too expensive, or they want a discount. And I feel like the business really struggles when it's like that. But tell me about pricing, how that's been, things to consider.
First thing I did was I pulled up my handy-dandy spreadsheet, which has all my products, how much I paid for them, how many pieces I get for the money. And then I priced every single thing that I use. And then I priced the time, because certain earrings take different time. Sometimes it takes a long time to dry. Sometimes it depends on the intricacy. Yeah. So like these.
Those are pretty. So these have a lot of wire on them. Yeah, they look. Is that wood? That's wood. That's wood. They're gold. These are very pretty. They have like a
rose gold, silver, and regular. Just yellow gold. And like these, it depends on what you use and what you add. And then sometimes I paint them. Sometimes I use material. Sometimes
so you factor all that into price.
Yes. Okay. And I mean, and I also did market research. But sometimes you have to know exactly what you're marketing because you have to look at people who are using materials such as you. And are they buying these wholesale out of wherever and getting a whole bunch and then they're pricing them? Or are they making their own stuff? That's different. The market's different. Some people would want, this is for some folk who want that. These were, now this is wood.
So this is another wood design with material.
And this is some chandelier earrings that I had that I never wore. I have so many earrings that I never wore. And they were just in my room.
So you did a lot of mixing of textiles and materials.
Yes. And I wore these at the Christmas party because I had this funky Christmas sweater with these colors. And I was like, how can I wear my own stuff and incorporate the wood? But most of these, I do the back. That's painted. And that's colorful turquoise. And then these were a pair of earrings that I had that I didn't wear. And then I used my material, which I love black and white, and I made those. And then my cousin was like, oh, I want those. And then I can show you pictures, and everybody, these are not, this is what's left. Okay. But I had gave away probably, I don't know. I'm not sure. If I was to count, I mean, it's a lot of them.
But they're absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
And so I can't wait to take pictures and again upload them via the Instagram site and upload them to YouTube. So, you know, definitely check out the link in the bio. Yes.
I wanted to speak when you were asking about the black-owned businesses, and I wanted to know, do you have a percentage of black-owned businesses in the U.S.?
I don't, but, you know, I would really like to look into the number of black-owned businesses and how prosperous they are and what they're doing to be successful.
So, African Americans, if I looked on, I did some research.
Did you? Tell me about it.
So, Investopedia and others.
I like Investopedia.
You do? Yeah. They're saying that African American firms, but they weren't specific about firms. I'm not sure firms, do they mean law firms or do they mean firms as far as business? 9% of 27.6 million U.S. businesses in 2012. Black entrepreneurs is basically... So I was also, you know, I do research, so...
Yes, tell me about all the research.
I look at, you know, we're talking about due to segregation, which was like 55 years ago. Black businesses thrived because it meant equality, it meant equity, it meant a means of abandoning poverty. So because we were segregated, we were together. We supported because we were not allowed to go X, Y, and Z.
Which is a true point that, you know, I didn't consciously think about it, but yeah, black business had no other outlet but to survive because that's the only place you could shop. So you had to go to, yes.
And then, according to blackownedbiz.com, how many businesses did you look into how many businesses are in Waterbury?
No, I know there's a lot of people, but I don't think they're necessarily maybe registered as a business. Okay. But they have their own thing that they're trying to go off the ground.
Okay, they're showing as 3, which I found that
3.
Yeah. So and I found that number to be.
Repeat that again, please.
blackownedbiz.com. Waterbury is listed as having 3 registered black-owned businesses.
Now that
to me, I didn't think it was true, but there it was. It was on the computer.
That's scary to think about a city that, again, it is diverse. We have different cultures, different ethnicities.
So it can't be true.
Or people just not able to register or don't know how to register, and which also limits your ability to grow if you're not registering or popping up to kind of get customers. Yeah. That's really scary and really sad to think about a city that has such a large African American population.
And then according to U.S., 2 million, according to the census.gov, 2 million black owned businesses that are 2 million, a little bit more, are in U.S. population. 2018, the census says that we're of a country of 327.2 million. We represent 12.7%. We meaning African Americans, blacks. So that says to me that basically 5.7% are black-owned businesses in the United States.
That's a small, very small percentage.
And then I was reading about like loans and how black people don't get the, they don't get the loans that they need, or they may have a higher percentage rate for their
start to business.
Yeah. So when you look at those things, those all contribute to
the barriers to start.
The barriers.
But which is why, to go back to kind of what you were saying in the beginning, I like how you use those resources when you do not...
If you stumble upon them.
You know what I mean? You either stumble upon these resources or you got to talk to others who have started, others that are in the business. Do, like you said, do your research, because, there are a lot of barriers, whether it is...
There are also opportunities and there are also resources.
There are.
And I'm starting little. Like, I'm just going to have something in a few months. Very soon, probably not that long. And I'm going to have something at the house, and people will come, and I'll have it out, and we'll talk, and people will chat, and we'll, if they want to buy, we'll
networking.
Buy. I haven't even invested in that chip.
Know what
I'm talking about. Where you use your credit card.
Yeah, when you
which is probably not even that much.
No, but the thing that you put it on your phone so you could take the payments wherever you are.
It's not even that bad. But also looking into resources that will give you a grant or will give you money if you're starting something, and then teach you how to market your stuff. You really want to go for the courses to learn how to expand everything. Yes, it's great to get the money, but you need to know how to maximize that money.
So would you say, because again, in reading those statistics and how few African American businesses there are, so like if you're an African American and you're listening to this, you're like, well, why should I even start? Because there's only a few and there's all these barriers. Would you say, like, just do your research? If you already know that, like, hey, there's not many businesses out there, like, let me do my research. Would you say that's very helpful, or has been helpful, just doing that research to know what's out there?
Yes, I would say most things start off as a few. You build it. And if it's something you're passionate about, like for me, this is creative stuff, so I love creative stuff. So I'm just doing it because I want to do it. It's just something I really enjoy doing. And that's what it is. And if it's something you enjoy, it's not really work, because it's like fun time. I mean, my daughter comes in, she's all over the place. I have to set up an easel or something and let her paint. She wants to paint. I'm like, but I just started. I went on. I brought all my stones, all the stones I love, and the ones that I could afford, and the ones that I could see myself building something on.
Yeah.
So now I have earrings down cold. Now I'm working on necklaces. Can't wait.
Ooh, expanding.
I already started looking at what I want to make. It's only it's like 5 different ones that I really, but 5 different ones, different styles. When you think about material, as far as like African prints and different stuff and woods, it's so fun.
I love it. So before we kind of head out, I want to kind of go back and touch upon pricing for a little bit.
Okay.
Because sometimes I feel either with like local business and stuff, people are like, oh, I can go on Amazon and get it cheaper. I can go over here and get it cheaper. What's something you would want people to know about pricing and supporting local business, and why it might be more expensive than if you went to an Amazon or a franchise?
to tell you, I was at an event here in Waterbury, and they had vendors. Mm-hmm. And there was this young lady there, and she makes pieces. Mm-hmm. And I had, at one time, I seen her at 2 different events. Mm-hmm. I bought a pair of earrings mm-hmm. because you want to support Black business. Mm-hmm. And I liked what she had. Mm-hmm. And then I saw her another place, and she had these funky leather earrings.
Leather?
Honey. And I bought them. And I thought they were reasonable.
Yeah.
And I think they were like $7. They were, and I still have them up there. And I pull them out when I'm wearing what I want to wear, and I put them on, and I love them. Sent her a picture of me. They were beautiful. It was important that I liked what I saw. Mm-hmm. It was important that I couldn't really go into a store, you say, and get them. And it was important that, again, I just supported her. But that woman has no idea that she really, like, inspired me to, like, do my thing. And we make totally different stuff. But the fact is, she makes stuff, too, that I dig, that I like.
I love that, and I'm going to end on that. I love just supporting, because I think sometimes there's a fear of, like, you're getting into my competition or things like that. But I love how you said, I'm a creative person, she's a creative person. I was still inspired, and I'm going to support her on the fact that she's a local business, she's an African-American woman, and I want to be supportive of those because I know how it is.
And I hadn't even started her setup. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to myself, look at her. This is, yes. And sometimes, you see stuff and it is, it'd be pricey.
Yeah.
But some of that stuff, it takes time, and the material to make it is pricey. But you can't go get that.
Yeah. It's unique. And another thing that, before we started, you talked about was when you are a local business, you're not necessarily getting that 401k and that pension that you might get at a typical 9-to-5. So when you are supporting this person and you're buying their earrings or their jewelry or their product that you might say, well, I could find this cheaper somewhere else, you're really supporting their longevity, you're supporting their business, you're supporting their family, and you're supporting their retirement. So I think that was an interesting point you talked about earlier.
I think it's a conscious thing. See, when we were talking about 55 years ago and all that, and we look at the things that are going on today in society at large, even if we looked all over the world. But for right now, we're going to concentrate right now in Connecticut, and we're going to concentrate on the city that we're in. It's a conscious decision to buy from knowing who you're supporting, what that supports. It's just like when you give to a community event, or you support a nonprofit, and because you like their work, because you understand what goes behind what they're doing and what they're doing in the community, and how that affects your community and what's around you. It's the same concept. So I think for me, it was a conscious thing. And when I go places and I see women, black women, or men, because I know people that art, paint, but when I love jewelry. So, and I know jewelry, so it don't matter where I'm at. If I see a sister and she has something that I like, and I know I can't go buy it, can't go buy this in the store. It's out of my mind. I'm gonna want it. Yeah, if it's $25 and you got $22, yeah. That's different than it's $25 and you trying to give me $15, or you trying, that is different. Yeah, you can maneuver that. Yeah, because I remember when I went to her earrings were like $7 or $8, and I only had $5 on me. I had to ask my girlfriend who I was with. I said, "Girl, I need $3." She was laughing. I was like, "I need $3."
But I think
because I wanted those earrings.
But I think that again, it shows to the appreciation of what she was putting out, and again supporting the business instead of being like, well, I only got this. No, you said, you know what?
I said, hold on.
Exactly. You respected her price and what she put into that price. And again, I go back and I'm going to end on, I appreciate your enthusiasm just to support someone else. You didn't say like, oh, it's all about me, my business. No, you said, we're in this together. And I think that's what really makes local businesses beautiful, when they are able to support and collaborate and stuff like that. So thank you, Kimkelly, for sitting with me. I appreciated our conversation. Anything you want to let the people know before we end about your business, anything like that?
I'm coming out.
2020 coming out.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and talking, and yeah.
Well, thank you, and I hope this won't be the last time. When you have some more necklaces, I want to get some updates on your progress, and when you have your next event, I want to sit down and talk about it.
Okay.
All right, again, thank you so much, Kimkelly.
You're welcome, Liz.